What is the best pool filter? I mean, there's DE filters, diatomaceous earth, there's sand filters, and there's cartridge filters. And I think if you were to ask 10 different people, you're going to get 10 different answers. And that's what I would want you to appreciate as a swimming pool owner, is that every situation is unique. Swimming pools are kind of like that. How many trees do you have in your backyard? Do you have any water restrictions that you have to deal with? How much time and energy do you want to devote to the maintenance of your swimming pool? All of those answers are very important in order to answer the question for you, what is the best filter for your pool? We could look at this from the perspective of, and most people do this, how fine is the material that this filter can remove from the water? That's kind of like a good way to define, one sand filter from the next. What's good, what's bad. And a sand filter, good old trusty sand filter, is very economical, but they do remove debris, which is the largest. Something in the range of 20 to 50 microns in size is the size of the material that a sand filter is going to be able to remove from your pool. That's fine. It's good enough. You could run a pool for 100 years with only a sand filter, and the water could always be clear, and it wouldn't be a problem at all. You would have the disadvantages that you do have to go out and you have to backwash the sand filter regularly, and that's going to, use up a fair amount of water. And if you live in an area where there's water restrictions or discharge restrictions for your pool, that would be pretty inconvenient. But, again, economical. It's the lowest price option of the three. And so for a lot of people, a sand filter might be the best option. But again, it's the lowest in terms of the capability, how fine of the material it can remove. The next best would be a cartridge filter. And a cartridge filter is going to remove 10 microns, 15 microns, somewhere in that range. And it's substantially better than pretty much all sand filters. But the big advantage for me of a cartridge filter, because kind of jumping ahead, cartridge filters are my favorite. The thing I like about them is they don't have a multiport valve on top, and they have a very efficient hydraulic design. This is something that is evidenced by the maximum design flow rate. That's kind of like a really important thing you should look at for any filter you're looking at. What is the maximum designed flow rate for this filter? And a sand filter, like we were just talking about, even a pretty big one might be 60, 70 gallons per minute maximum. A cartridge filter is going to be 100, 120, 140 gallons per minute or more. And that's because there's just not a lot, to stop the water from moving efficiently through there. You, of course, have the paper media filters, but that's it. You don't have the multiport valve, which is very important. That multiport valve is a major efficiency loss point, but you also have the big filter tank full of sand. So, cartridge filters are kind of, to me, I think it's one of the best all-around options, but notably, it's not the best in terms of the how fine of the material can be removed from the pool. The glass media option, this is something that people don't often talk about because it's kind of a newer option, but glass media inside of a sand filter. So the glass media replaces the sand media. You can have a much finer debris removal from using glass media. I would say it is a substantial improvement over sand. And there's probably a bunch of people really happy to hear that because they use glass or they like glass in their sand filters. But I point out that, while it is better to use glass than silica sand in terms of how fine of the debris can be removed, you still have to have the multi-port valve. So you still have this major flow restriction. And as a result, you have a substantially lower maximum design flow rate available to you than you do with a cartridge filter, or for that matter, the next option, which is the finest filter removal possible for swimming pools, and that's a DE filter, diatomaceous earth. So a diatomaceous earth filter definitely takes the cake in terms of how small the debris it can remove. It because it's in the 2 to 5 micron range size, which is like super, super small, extremely fine debris removal. But there's no free lunch, so to speak, in the world of filtration. And I personally don't endorse DE filters, even though they do remove the finest debris, because I don't enjoy the maintenance cycle that they require. And I don't enjoy working with diatomaceous earth itself. This isn't the stuff that's food grade that you can eat. Some people eat food grade diatomaceous earth. This is a more of like an industrial grade product, and something you have to be careful handling. Something that's not available everywhere. It is very, very fine, so fine that it is a concern for damage to your lungs from breathing it or exposure to it. And as a result, to the average pool owner, it's just one more problem you don't need. And that's why I like to go with cartridge filters, because I find that they're a great happy medium between being very flow efficient. They have a minimal maintenance cycle. They can handle a very high maximum flow rate. They remove a very fine amount from the water. So they're a good all-around winner in terms of filtration in my mind. If you found this information helpful, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can check out my website, swimmingpoolsteve.com.